What's up, everybody, and welcome to ReelTime for the real everyday movie fan. I'm Ryan Murphy.
And I'm Josh Williams.
And today we are giving you a look back on the original Godzilla film from 1954. We just watched both versions of this, the original Japanese cut and the American re-edit, which was dubbed Godzilla King of the Monsters when it came out in 1956.
And the original was just Gojira.
So. Gojira, or you call it Godzilla now.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, so we checked this out because we know there's a lot of Godzilla fans out there. We kind of grew up watching some of the later movies, some of the color movies. I had seen this movie as a kid, the American version.
The American version?
Yeah. But let's start with you. What did you think of this film?
I mean, for its time,
it's hokey. Let's just get that out.
For its time, coming out in 1954, if you want to base off that, it was good. A lot of the technical effects with Godzilla was very masterfully done, especially for the time. A lot of there's some parts where oh, that's clearly like a toy, but for its pushing boundaries to try and be something on a grand scale like that, I thought worked. But at the same time, I mean, let me know in the comments, please, what some people see. I watched this thing very heavily. It was just very slow. Some of the character development was really good. But for me, it's just very slow. Very slow paced.
The American version picked it up a bit.
The American version had a much quicker pace. It
actually cut out some of the character moments.
Yeah, character moments. Those are actually
the main three characters. But
actually, those parts I like the most from the original. That's why I was like, oh, they cut that out? Okay, well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but the other thing that has to be said is that the whole premise, the whole concept of this monster comes out of the sea, and oh, by the way, this main character has this magical thing that can just happens to have been invented right now that can just pretty hokey. But I actually got into some of the character stuff later on. But even like when he's deciding whether to use the weapon and the kind of love triangle was kind of interesting. But I mean, I even at the end there was I was kind of torn between. There's sort of this beauty to the ending, where it's got this really great music. Of course, Akira Ifukube is known as the composer of the Godzilla music, and he also does some great score work for this film. And there's this sort of tragic music that plays towards the end, and I'm this is really great. But at the same time, it's sort of weirdly cut. And then the American version, it just sort of it kind of moves at a faster pace, but then it kind of cuts away a lot of the emotional material. So I'm not really sure to which one is better at this point. Plus the American version is really it's obviously dubbed. And they insert they take footage of the characters to make them look like they're in the same shot.
Yeah, but they're really not. You always see the back of their head or something.
Yeah, and then when they do talk to him, it's it just sounds really silly. But.
Yeah, and that's the part. For me, the pace picked up in the English version. But I dislike the English version less, only because the main American character. I don't know how you thought, but I thought he was pretty bad.
Oh, he's a good actor. He did a really good job, but the character is totally pointless. I didn't
think he did a good job at all. For me personally, it was a lot of times he was just sitting there looked like a puzzled look on his face when something tragic is happening in front of him.
When he's reacting to everything going on, when he's recording it into his device, I thought that was great acting.
I don't know.
It's totally pointless character. It's just there to sort of make it more American.
Yeah.
I still it's interesting because when this film came out in Japan in 1954 and in America in 1956, it was a big hit. Obviously, it launched a massive franchise. And I'd imagine that people back then thought this is great. Man, this is so thrilling. When you're seeing Godzilla just rip apart Tokyo, that's what you paid the ticket for.
Yeah.
All that destruction and stuff is kind of like what we saw in the Avengers now. It's just, it's just kind of like this slam bang action, and so it's kind of hard to put yourself in that mentality to where this looked really cool at the time.
I have to say, when I try to put myself
and they also
back
probably,
then,
let me just say, they also probably didn't really mind the pacing as much back then. They were probably used. Us darn millennials, probably not. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But that's what I appreciated the most about it, because for the time that this came out, we can't deny that some of the effects that they would use for this film, like when you would see people running, but then you'd see the background of Godzilla's foot walking, walking past. For that time, that was kind of pushing boundaries for special effects.
Sure.
And I really liked that. I really appreciate it. I think that's why this movie is so iconic in our in cinema is because of that.
Yeah, we take for granted now that there's Godzilla and also that roar. Oh my goodness,
right?
So much of the
pretty
things,
famous
the
roar,
fiery breath and everything, just like that. Again, it's hard to imagine people being in the theater like, oh man, this might have been a scary movie to a lot of people, or maybe it was just kid shit. Back then we were like, let's take the kids to this, because that's what it definitely became later. with all the Godzilla versus.
But now rewatching this original one, me and you talked about it, and I want to hear people's thoughts on this. I thought that there was a lot of homages that the 2014 version did to pay tribute to this one. Kind of how I know you disagree with me, but I'm gonna rewatch this again because I've had it for a little while. I might rewatch again and then rewatch 2014 because I know for a fact the camera angles that they used were I believe were an homage to this original one, the 2014 version.
Okay.
Because this how the camera was always looking upwards at Godzilla, like as a person perspective. I think was used it was used in this original, and it is used in the 2014. I think that now looking back in hindsight, I think now he did that. Gareth Edwards did it on purpose to pay homage to this. And I did make a couple jokes that like there's a lot of times where the creatures destroying things at night, and I know that was one of the big complaints of the Godzilla film. I just kind of poked fun of that, but I actually think because I think that was done on purpose now looking back on it, and because I know that was one of the complaints too about. The 2014 Godzilla, and we both can agree that there was not a lot of Godzilla in this movie. This is the original Godzilla, and there was not a lot of Godzilla on screen.
I mean, there was just a short movie to start with.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half movie, and he comes in and he toys with Tokyo, and then he comes up for a second time and destroys Tokyo pretty much. And so it's like
that's what I mean. Like you don't really see him. Like you see him maybe 3 times.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Come on. The problem with the 2014 film is like they constantly gave you blue balls. Like it was just constantly like, hey, it was like, am I gonna fight the monster? No, I didn't. You're gonna have to wait, and then it happens at night. You can't see anything. So that's what's.
But this one did the same thing. It teases so many times. We're like, oh, you'll see.
No, it doesn't see. Like
yes,
he first of all, he comes up and he does destruction, and then he comes up and he does destruction again. There's no tease. It's like, and you see him like 20 minutes into the movie, and it's like.
I would say it's 20. I'd say like a half an hour.
Yeah, but it's I mean.
I don't know, but besides that, getting back to this, we didn't even talk about scores. I feel like we should both give this.
I don't even know if you can give it a score. Again, it's cheesy. It's 50s. The whole premise of the scientists who happen to have the magical cure right on hand is pretty hokey. It's just it's what it is.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
An 8 out of 10?
No, sorry. Let me drop it below. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
7.5. I don't know if I feel comfortable giving a score because it's just like, I don't know. It depends on.
It did start the franchise. It started everything we know and hear and hold dear now. So you can't take that away from it, I feel. But yeah, I mean, I'd say if you haven't watched it yet, I know we didn't give us spoilers. I mean, heck, it's been over 50 years. You should have 60 years. You've probably seen this. But if you haven't, check it out. Let us know your thoughts. Give us your score out of 10 too. I don't know. I think it was worth the $3 we spent.
We're gonna watch some more. We're gonna keep going through the kaiju series, the Godzilla series.
Yeah, the Godzilla series.
So next up is Godzilla Raids Again. So we're gonna have to check that out, and we'll get back to you then. Yeah. And we're of course looking forward to seeing Godzilla King of the Monsters next year, and Godzilla vs. Kong in 2020.
Right.
So. Stick with us.
Yep.
All right, folks. That'll do us for today. What are your thoughts on the original Godzilla film? Either version, both versions, whatever. Leave your comments in the section below, and if you'd like to see, subscribe to our channel, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Snappy Chat, all that good stuff. We're not on Snapchat. But yeah, do that. And until next time, I'm Ryan Murphy.
I'm Josh Williams.
And thank you for keeping it real
with ReelTime.